The Galactic Council Chamber was a place of pride for hundreds of alien civilizations. The tall pillars shone with silver light. Banners of countless species hung across the dome, and the air was thick with the weight of authority. Every envoy who entered here came with respect, with humility. Every envoy except one. At the center of the hall stood a single human. He wore a black uniform with no decoration, only the crest of Earth on his chest. His eyes scanned the crowd with calm defiance. Around him, thousands of alien eyes glared, whispering their contempt. For them, humanity was young, reckless, and unworthy of standing among the stars. The council had gathered to make that truth clear. The supreme speaker, a towering avian creature with golden feathers, leaned forward. His voice echoed across the chamber. "Envoy of Earth, you were granted time to present your plea. The council has heard enough. Humanity is too dangerous, too wild to be trusted with equal standing. The council enforces its decision today. You will return to your planet, and your people will accept subjugation." The words cut through the hall like a blade. A murmur of approval spread among the representatives. They believed the matter was closed, but the human envoy did not bow, did not plead, and did not step back. His silence was louder than any argument. The speaker's golden eyes narrowed. "Do you defy the will of the council?" Finally, the human spoke. His voice was steady, calm, but it carried across the chamber like a storm. "Earth does not kneel." The hall erupted in anger. Alien voices shouted, some calling for immediate arrest, others demanding punishment. Guards stepped closer, their weapons humming with energy. Yet the envoy stood still, his face unreadable. One of the reptilian counselors hissed, "You forget your place, human. You were invited here to show respect, not to spit defiance." The envoy's gaze swept across the chamber, meeting the eyes of those who mocked his people. His tone grew sharper, colder. "You mistake silence for weakness. You mistake patience for submission. Humanity has listened to your insults, your orders, your arrogance. No longer." The speaker slammed his talon against the table. "Enough! Guards, remove this insolent creature." 2 armored guards moved forward, their claws gripping their weapons. The envoy did not resist as they approached. But before they could lay a hand on him, he raised his voice one last time. "Remember this day." His words froze the room. "You enforce your will on Earth's envoy, but know this. Earth enforces its will in fire. We do not beg. We do not bow. You believe us too wild? Then you will witness what true wildness means." The guards dragged him toward the exit, but the silence that followed was heavy, poisoned with unease. Even the proudest counselors felt a chill ripple through their bones. The envoy did not scream, did not resist, but his calm expression was more frightening than rage. It was the look of a man who knew something they did not. As the doors closed behind him, the speaker tried to restore order. "Do not be unsettled by the threats of a lesser species. Their fleets are small. Their worlds are few. Their courage will break before the might of the council." But deep within the chamber, not everyone was convinced. Whispers passed between delegates, questions rising like shadows. If the humans were truly weak, why did the envoy not tremble? Why did he not fear the council's power? In the dim corners of the chamber, some alien envoys exchanged uneasy glances. A single sentence echoed in their minds. Remember this day, the decision had been made. The council had enforced its will, yet in doing so, they had planted a seed of dread that even their pride could not silence. For the first time, the council felt the weight of doubt, and somewhere far away, beyond the stars, Earth was already listening. Far from the shining halls of the Galactic Council, on the blue and green sphere called Earth, silence spread across war rooms and command centers. The envoy's final transmission was short, his voice calm, but the message was enough to ignite every leader's mind. Humanity had been humiliated before all the stars. The council had dragged their envoy out like a criminal. The insult was not only to one man, it was to the whole of Earth. In the underground command bunker beneath Geneva, the World Defense Assembly gathered. Generals, admirals, and scientists sat around a dark table. The envoy's words played on the screen again. "Remember this day. Earth enforces its will in fire." No one spoke for several moments. The silence was not weakness. It was calculation. An old general leaned forward, his uniform heavy with medals. "The council thinks we are still children in the stars. They do not know what we have prepared. Another voice, sharp and steady, followed. For decades we have hidden our true strength. Our fleets, our weapons, our protocol. They believe Earth to be fragile, but they see only what we want them to see. The protocol. It was whispered like a ghost in every military circle. Officially, it did not exist. Publicly, humanity spoke of peace, trade, and cooperation. But deep in secret shipyards under the oceans and on hidden bases carved into asteroids, something darker had been built. Machines that could erase fleets in seconds. Engines that could burn worlds until nothing but ash remained. The Extermination Protocol. The assembly chairwoman raised her hand and the room quieted. Her eyes were cold, her voice steady. The Council has given us their judgment. Now we will give ours. For years, humanity begged for a place at their table. They mocked us. They dismissed us. Now we show them the cost of arrogance. Orders were given. Silent signals traveled through encrypted channels, carried by quantum relays no alien scanner could intercept. Across the solar system, hidden bases stirred. On the far side of the moon, great hangars opened. Sleek black warships unseen by alien eyes rose into the void. Each was armed with weapons unknown to the galaxy. Kinetic cannons that could pierce planetary shields, swarm drones that devoured armor like locusts, and antimatter warheads that could turn space itself into fire. Beneath the Atlantic Ocean, a hidden cradle of submarines launched vertical crafts into the sky. Their engines lit up the night, streaking into orbit. From the icy silence of Pluto's shadow, listening posts activated, tracking every alien fleet within range. The people of Earth were not told the full truth. News broadcasts spoke of diplomatic tensions, of council arrogance, but in whispers, in hidden corners, fear spread. Everyone felt that something was coming. Factories worked day and night, producing weapons under the disguise of commerce. Young men and women were drafted, trained, armed. Still, Earth did not roar. It did not make a show of force. Humanity had learned something the Council never understood. Strength was not in the noise of threats, but in the silence of preparation. The Envoy, now returned from humiliation, stood in a secure chamber, his face hard as steel. He spoke to the assembly once more. They see us as wild animals. They chained us in their mind before they even knew us. But they will learn, not through words, not through negotiation. They will learn through fire. The chairwoman nodded. The protocol will be enacted. Across the stars, alien worlds celebrated the Council's decision. They laughed at humanity's disgrace. Yet while they feasted and sang, Earth moved in silence. Shadows spread where no light touched. Warships took their positions. Codes were unlocked, weapons armed. The galaxy thought Earth had been silenced. In truth, Earth was holding its breath, and when that breath was released, it would come as a storm. For the first time in history, all of humanity, every nation, every army, every fleet, stood united not by fear, but by fury. The insult at the Council had lit a fire that could not be put out. The Extermination Protocol was no longer a secret. It was becoming a promise. The stars above the Council's territories burned bright and calm, unaware of what was about to come. Alien fleets patrolled their sectors lazily, their captains confident that humanity would never dare rise against the might of the galaxy. To them, Earth was still a small, reckless world, a child with fragile toys. That illusion was about to shatter. At the edge of Council space, a lone outpost floated above a red dwarf star. Its crew of insectoid officers kept watch, though no alarms had sounded for decades. Their scanners detected nothing unusual, only the cold emptiness of space. Then, without warning, their screens filled with movement. Hundreds of signals appeared, fast and silent, emerging from the void itself. Unidentified contacts. The outpost commander screeched, his wings rattling in panic. Impossible. No fleet could bypass the Council's sensors. But the fleet was there. Sleek black shapes cut through the dark, absorbing light instead of reflecting it. Human warships, hidden for years, now revealed themselves like predators striking from the shadows. Before the outpost could send a warning, a flash of white light consumed it. One single round from a kinetic cannon tore the station apart. The first blood had been drawn. Across the sector, alarms blared. Council fleets scrambled, confused, believing they faced raiders or smugglers. They did not yet understand. Humanity's extermination protocol had been unleashed. In the battle over the planet Fathara, the Council dispatched a proud armada of 50 ships. Their vessels were large, covered in shining armor, weapons humming with plasma fire. They had fought wars for centuries and believed themselves unmatched. Then the humans arrived. A swarm of black drones poured from Earth's carriers, moving faster than any alien eye could follow. They slipped through shields, latched onto hulls, and ate through metal like acid. Within minutes, ships that had stood for generations broke apart, burning in silence. The Council commanders shouted orders, their crews firing wildly into the dark, but nothing slowed the assault. From the flagship of the human fleet, Admiral Reyes watched with cold focus. "No survivors," he said. His voice carried no hate, only certainty. The Council chose arrogance. Now they will learn consequence. Antimatter warheads launched, leaving trails of light behind them. When they struck, entire capital ships vanished, their crews never given time to scream. In less than an hour, the Council's proud armada was reduced to drifting wreckage. The stars glittered around the ruins as if mocking the fallen. News of the strike spread like wildfire. Council members, once laughing at Earth's Envoy, now trembled. The speaker demanded retaliation, declaring humanity a galactic threat. Fleets were mobilized across sectors, armies prepared for invasion. But with every move, humanity was one step ahead. Their listening posts tracked every signal, every deployment. Wherever a Council fleet appeared, the humans struck first. On the ice world of Jari, an alien garrison prepared for defense. Their soldiers dug trenches, mounted cannons, and raised banners of defiance. Above them, the sky darkened. Human dropships pierced the clouds, releasing fire and steel. Soldiers of Earth, clad in black armor, marched onto the battlefield. They did not speak. They did not boast. They advanced like a storm, swift and merciless. Within hours, the garrison was silent. The banners lay in the snow, soaked in blood. The galaxy had never seen war like this. For centuries, conflicts were slow, stretched across decades. Armies clashed, treaties were signed, and grudges lingered. Humanity's war was different. It was not about conquest. It was not about territory. It was about extermination. Every strike was designed to erase, to silence, to make an example. Whispers spread even among the Council's strongest allies. The humans fight like no other. They strike fast, they strike hard, and they do not stop. Fear spread faster than any fleet. In the Council chamber, panic grew. Delegates shouted at each other, demanding explanations, demanding hope. But deep down, they all remembered the Envoy's words. Earth enforces its will in fire. The first strike was complete. Entire sectors were burning. Alien pride lay shattered among the stars. And yet the humans did not slow. This was only the beginning. The galaxy had seen battles before. Wars fought for pride, for territory, for resources. But what now unfolded was something entirely different. Humanity was not fighting for survival nor for conquest. They were unleashing something older, colder, and far more terrifying. A promise born in silence and carried across centuries of preparation. The extermination protocol had begun. The declaration did not arrive in the form of diplomats or envoys. It came as a broadcast, hijacking every frequency, every channel, every world. Across thousands of planets, beings of countless species stopped in their tracks as their screens flickered black. Then a single figure appeared, the human envoy, the same man who had been dragged from the Council chamber. His uniform was the same, his crest still plain, his eyes calm and unshaken. "This is the will of Earth," his voice rang out, translated into every tongue. "You chose humiliation. You chose arrogance. Now we choose fire. Hear these words. Wherever the Council holds power, we will bring silence. Wherever your banners fly, they will burn. The extermination protocol is not a threat. It is an order. It has already begun." The broadcast ended, but the silence that followed was worse than any scream. On every world, fear bloomed like a shadow. The Council tried to dismiss it as propaganda, but reports poured in. Fleets gone, garrisons erased, colonies left as ashes. The pattern was clear. Humanity was not merely striking, they were erasing. On the Council world of Vryn, a grand fleet assembled more than 200 ships strong. The speaker himself called it proof that no human could stand against true galactic might. The fleet launched with banners raised, its commanders certain of victory. They never returned. From the darkness, human warships appeared with impossible precision. Entire squadrons vanished under coordinated antimatter detonations. Swarm drones consumed the rest like carrion birds. Within 3 hours, one of the greatest fleets in galactic history ceased to exist. Only wreckage and silence remained, word spread like poison. The Council's propaganda crumbled under the weight of reality. Their leaders shouted of vengeance, but their citizens whispered of doom. Some worlds began to evacuate their cities, sending millions into space in the hope of escaping Earth's wrath. Others fortified themselves, digging deep into mountains and oceans. None of it mattered. Humanity struck not as conquerors, but as executioners. On the jungle planet of Rethari, millions lived under the Council's banner. They woke to the sound of thunder from the sky. Human ships descended, their weapons tearing apart defenses in minutes. There were no speeches, no demands for surrender. The bombardment began, and by nightfall the planet was silent. Smoke rose into the atmosphere where forests once stood, and the stars reflected only fire. Admiral Reyes stood on the bridge of his flagship, his eyes on the burning horizon. "The protocol is clear," he said. "No Council stronghold survives. No fleet remains. This is not war. This is extermination." His officers did not question him. They only carried out the order with cold precision. For the Council, panic became chaos. Delegates screamed at each other, some demanding negotiations, others urging total retreat. The speaker slammed his talons on the table, his voice shaking. "We cannot give in. Humanity is still a minor species. Their fury will burn out." But even he did not believe his own words. Reports showed human fleets appearing where they should not exist, striking faster than any defense could prepare. Entire sectors fell in days. Civilizations that once mocked humanity now begged for help, but no help came. And still the envoy's words echoed in every mind. "This is not a threat. It is an order. It has already begun." The galaxy had underestimated Earth. They believed humans were reckless, emotional, undisciplined. But now they saw the truth. Humanity was not wild. Humanity was patient. They had waited, hidden, built in silence. And when the time came, they struck with the precision of a blade across the throat. The extermination protocol was no longer a rumor. It was reality. Entire races vanished from the stars, their histories erased in fire. And yet the humans did not celebrate. They did not roar in triumph. They advanced in silence, relentless, unstoppable. For the first time in living memory, the Council faced something greater than their pride. They faced extinction. The Council chamber, once a place of arrogance and order, now drowned in chaos. Where ambassadors once debated with pride, they now shouted in panic. Holograms of burning colonies and shattered fleets flickered across the walls. Every report that arrived told the same story. Humanity was not just winning battles, they were erasing entire sectors. The galaxy's balance of power was collapsing. The Supreme Speaker's voice broke as he slammed his talons against the table. "We must unite. We must push back their fleets before they erase us all." But his words carried no strength. His feathers drooped, his eyes flickered with fear. Even he knew the truth. The Council was losing faster than any war in history. Delegates turned on one another. A scaled envoy hissed, accusing others of betrayal. "You promised defenses in the outer rim, yet the humans swept through as if your fleets did not exist." A crystalline delegate's body pulsed with trembling light. "Do not blame us. You all mocked them. You dragged their envoy through these very halls and laughed at his defiance. Now his words consume us." The chamber fell into shouting, claws, wings, and tentacles waving in panic. The Council, once a symbol of unity, had turned into a hall of fear. No one spoke of victory anymore. They spoke only of survival. Across the galaxy, entire civilizations broke into chaos. On merchant worlds, trade routes collapsed as convoys vanished under human ambushes. Citizens stormed their leaders, demanding answers, demanding safety. On frontier colonies, broadcasts of human bombardment spread like wildfire. Families abandoned their homes, fleeing into deep space with no destination, hoping only to escape Earth's fury. The whispers grew darker with every passing day. They do not take prisoners. They do not negotiate. They do not stop. In the military ranks, morale crumbled. Soldiers who once believed the Council's propaganda now trembled at the sight of black warships cutting across the stars. Many deserted, fleeing battles before they began. Entire fleets refused to fight. vanishing into uncharted systems rather than face Earth's wrath. Admiral Reyes watched from his command deck as reports came in. Every strike was faster than the last. Every fleet broken left the next easier to destroy. His officers spoke little, their faces hard. They understood what was unfolding. It was not war, it was collapse. On the world of Kethar Prime, home to billions, panic reached its peak. Crowds filled the streets, crying out as news of humanity's declaration reached them. A timer projected across their skies, counting down to annihilation. No ships appeared at first. No weapons, only silence. But as the countdown ticked to zero, fire rained from orbit. Entire cities turned to glass in seconds. Billions of voices silenced in less than a day. The message was clear. No one under the Council's banner was safe. The galaxy had never known such terror. For centuries, wars had been predictable. Leaders spoke of honor, of treaties, of mercy. Humanity shattered those illusions. They made no demands. They gave no warnings. Only execution. In the council chamber, one desperate delegate shouted, "We must beg for mercy. Send envoys to Earth. They must be reasoned with." But another answered with a trembling voice, "They sent an envoy once. We dragged him from this hall. Do you not understand? There is no mercy left." The speaker tried to hold order, but even his voice cracked. "If the humans continue unchecked, the council will fall. Our civilizations will be erased. We must stand together." But already alliances were breaking. Civilizations withdrew their fleets, abandoning the council to save themselves. Others turned traitor, secretly offering intelligence to Earth in hopes of being spared. Fear was now the only law in the galaxy. And through it all, the human broadcasts continued, cold and merciless. The envoy's calm face appeared again and again, his words never changing. "This is the will of Earth. You chose humiliation. We choose fire." The panic was complete. The Council's power, once unshakable, now crumbled under the weight of fear. The galaxy no longer looked to the Council for protection. They looked to the dark horizon, waiting for the black warships that would end their worlds. In every corner of known space, one truth spread like a plague. The humans were coming, and nothing could stop them. The galaxy was burning. Entire sectors lay silent, their stars surrounded by drifting wreckage and the ashes of once proud civilizations. Worlds that had stood for thousands of years were erased in days. The Galactic Council, once the highest authority in the known universe, was now nothing more than a gathering of terrified voices shouting into the void. Humanity had carried its warning into action, and the extermination protocol was almost complete. In the heart of Council space, the final stronghold remained, the Prime Chamber world where the Council had first formed. The Speaker and the surviving delegates gathered there, hoping their fortress of fleets and shields would protect them. Tens of thousands of ships stood in orbit, their weapons locked on every approach. On the surface, planetary shields pulsed like a glowing shell, said to be unbreakable. The Council had bet everything on this defense. And then the skies darkened. Human warships arrived without warning, their black hulls blotting out the stars. They did not broadcast demands. They did not offer surrender. They only moved forward in perfect silence. "Engage them." The speaker screamed, his feathers shaking with fear. "This is the last stand of the galaxy." The Council fleets opened fire. Beams of plasma and torrents of energy streaked across the void, lighting up space with desperate fury. But the humans did not falter. Their ships slipped through fire, as though they had rehearsed this battle 1,000 times. Swarm drones poured out in waves, ripping into shields and armor. Kinetic cannons shattered capital ships with brutal precision. Antimatter detonations carved holes through the defenses, each blast erasing hundreds of vessels at once. The last defense of the Council collapsed in hours. What had been meant as a symbol of unity became a graveyard of twisted metal and burning fragments. Survivors screamed over comms for retreat, for mercy, for anything, but none came. On the surface, the delegates watched in horror as their fleets fell. The speaker's voice cracked as he turned to his council. "We must surrender. We must plead before there is nothing left." But even as he spoke, the human envoy appeared on every screen, just as he had in the first broadcast. His face was calm, his tone steady, his words sharp as blades. "You dragged me from your hall. You spat on Earth. You called us wild, unworthy. Today your judgment ends and ours begins. The council is finished. As his image faded, the bombardment began. Human warships rained fire on the prime chamber world. Shields that had held against centuries of attack shattered within minutes. Cities crumbled. Towers of alien stone turned to dust. Oceans boiled away under the relentless assault. The cries of billions rose into the stars and vanished in silence. The speaker, trembling in his final moments, whispered to no one, "We thought them weak. We thought them children. We were wrong." His words never left the chamber. Moments later, the capital of the council was nothing more than glass and ruin. In the aftermath, the galaxy lay in silence. No council, no alliances, no authority but one. Across the stars, the humans broadcast their final message, delivered once again by the Envoy, whose humiliation had begun it all. The era of the council is over. The galaxy belongs to none but itself. Earth will not rule you, nor will we bow to you. But hear this, never again will humanity beg for a place. Never again will Earth be mocked or dragged in chains before arrogant voices. We are not subjects. We are not children. We are the fire that answers insult with silence. Remember this day, for it is the last day the council ever drew breath. The transmission ended, and the stars remained quiet. No alien dared speak against humanity again. Civilizations rebuilt in fear, their banners lowered, their fleets kept close to home. None knew if the humans would strike again, or if the fire would rest. But all remembered the truth. Earth had chosen extermination, and no one could stop them. On Earth itself, there were no cheers, no celebrations. Humanity did not need them. They had not fought for glory. They had not fought for conquest. They had fought for respect, and in fire, they had claimed it. The galaxy now understood what the Envoy had said long ago. Earth does not kneel. Humanity does not beg. When provoked, humanity does not wage war. Humanity enforces judgment. The final judgment was complete, and the stars would never forget it.